So it's our fourth lesson on the foundation of Rome, looking at the third legendary king, Tullus Hostilius. We're going to call him Hostilius for the sake of brevity. 673 to 642 BC. But again, not really, he didn't exist. We're going to learn what he did, understand why it's important, even though it is not true. Keywords: hostile, Hostilius, hostile. It's where we get the word hostile from. Warlike, aggressive. Metius is the name. Curatai, Horatii. These are sets of triplets. It's a family name for these triplets. 3 boys there, 3 boys there. Etruscans, Romans' neighbours. Sacrilege, if you're against the gods, do something to offend the gods, sacrilege. Appeal, if you're asking out like an abhor, you appeal against a decision. And land reform. So, previous lesson here on Numa. Here's the lessons. If you don't know the answers, look it up. How did he reign? Who was his wife? Who were they? Who were they? And how did Numa keep Rome safe? Moving on. So Numa dies, and Hostilius is made king. And he's the complete opposite of Numa. Numa is very, very religious. Hostilius is very, very aggressive and warlike, and spends his entire reign at war with their neighbours, expanding territory, fighting battles. It's where we get the word hostile. Now, although a lot of the stories are going to do in a minute are not true, they can't be true, there does seem to be a kernel, a little iota here of truth. In the period that Hostilius is said to be king, Rome, the area was at war. There was a lot of fighting with these neighbours to the north. A place called Etruria. The people are called the Etruscans. We're going to come across them again in the future. They're a big part of early Roman history. And at this period, they appear to have been getting very strong. Their armies were larger. They had navies. They were really quite advanced. And they're going to play a big part in the history of early Rome, the Etruscans. Right, so let's do some details of the reign of Hostilius, in particular, the tale of the 3 Albans. It goes like this. You remember Alba Longa, the place where Romulus and Remus were originally from? Their king is angry with the Romans because Romans have attacked their territory and stolen cows, the cattle raid. So he leads his army to attack Rome. They besiege Rome. The king, very early on, dies of a natural illness, and he's replaced by a dictator, a guy called Metius. And Metius talks to Hostilius and says, look, we shouldn't be fighting. We're from Alba Longa. You're Romans. We're related. Let's settle this in a better way. Let's merge our 2 kingdoms. But let's do it like this. In our armies, we've both got sets of triplet warriors. In our army, we've got a family called the Curatai. They got 3 boys. You've got the Horatii, 3 triplets. Let them fight to the death. And whoever wins the fight between these 3 6 people, that side wins the war and rules the other side's city. Yeah, fine, let's do it, they say. So they get set up for the fight. Pretty quickly, 2 of the Roman triplets are killed. And all 3 of the Alban boys, the Curatai, they're also wounded. But it's now 3 against 1. 3 wounded Albans versus 1 still whole, unwounded Horatii. He's looking pretty bad. Horatii runs for it. Here's his plan. They're wounded, he thinks. If I run off, they'll chase me, but because they're all wounded, they'll be slower than me, and they'll probably run at different speeds. And it works. The Curatai chase him. But they get split up by doing this, and then they have to turn back and kill them one by one and win. And so, according to the deal, Hostilius, king of Rome, now becomes the king of Alba Longa. But Metius is secretly really unhappy with this, and he makes a deal with the Etruscans to come to his aid. So the Etruscans invade. The Romans line up to fight them with the Albans. The Albans run off, try and swap sides, and it's looking pretty bad for the Romans. But Hostilius leads them in a fantastic victory, and they defeat the Etruscan invaders. As a punishment, Metius, once he's found out what he's done, he's lashed to 4 chariots and pulled apart and that's how he's executed. Alba Longa is then completely destroyed and the Albans forced to move to Rome. This is very handy historically for the Romans later on. Now they haven't got to explain where Alba Longa is. It was destroyed. It probably didn't exist in the first place. But this destruction of it is handy for the Roman historians. After this, Hostilius carries on fighting war after war after war. He's very successful. Defeats the Sabines, all sorts of things, creates more territory for Rome. But the people are getting steadily more and more sick of it, more and more tired, more and more angry with constant warfare. They hark back to, the days of Numa were so great when we were all praying all the time and no fighting. There's a plague in Rome. Hostilius won't let his men go home to look after their families. They're very unhappy. Then Hostilius is so busy fighting, he doesn't do his prayers. As king of Rome, part of his job is to lead various religious ceremonies, and he doesn't do that. As a punishment, the gods kill him by hitting him with a bolt of lightning, and he's done for. 2 other things the Romans reckon he did. He brought in the right of appeal during his lifetime. If you remember, there's 3 Horatii. 2 die, 1's left. When the war's over, this Horatii brother, the last one, murders his sister because his sister was due to be married to one of the Curatii. Hostilius doesn't want to get involved in this. This looks bad. This guy's a hero. So in the end, he lets the people of Rome decide whether he should be killed. So he's found guilty. People aren't happy with this, and then Hostilius says to the people, "What do you think should happen?" And they vote to set him free. That's called the right of appeal. And finally, Hostilius is said to have brought in widespread land reform. He has all these Sabines and Albans who now live in Rome, but by conquering other land, he's able to give everybody land. He give poor Romans fresh bits of land, new farms, settles a lot of Albans in Rome, in a new part of Rome, and in that way ends his reign, leaving Rome much stronger than it had been at the start.